You're listening to the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast, the show that guides you on your holistic lifestyle journey to a healthy body, mind, and soul aligned with nature. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 49 of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. This episode is called The Connection Between Spirituality and Nature. I love this subject so much because spirituality is one of my favorite subjects and nature is one of my favorite subjects. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you probably are aware how I talk all the time about nature and our connection with it in regards to our holistic wellness. I think nature is so crucial because we are nature. And the connection between spirituality and nature is very profound for many reasons, and that's why I'm going to talk about that in this episode. So if you are on a spiritual journey, one thing that you will notice is that you will feel more drawn to natural things or things that help support life rather than break it down. You might stop wanting to eat meat, you might be drawn to spending more time outside. You might start using things from the earth like crystals and herbs and flowers and natural things like that. Whatever the case may be, connecting with nature while on a spiritual journey can be a really powerful thing and help you feel closer to the universe. Not only is nature good for developing your spiritual side, but becoming more spiritual helps draw you closer to nature. It's a beautiful circle that feeds on itself. I believe this is why over time I am being more drawn to spiritual and natural things the deeper I go into my spiritual awakening journey. So let me talk a little bit about the benefits of spending time in nature. You will notice that many people who start working on their spiritual growth spend a lot of time in nature or use items from nature. And there's a good reason for that because Mother Earth helps you feel more connected to your own spirit and soul and the universe itself. So here are some benefits that you will get from connecting and spending more time in nature while on a spiritual journey. It quiets the mind. Nature really helps to clear and quiet the mind, whether you have been feeling anxious or you simply want to meditate more often on your spiritual journey. The peaceful calm you get when you are outside among the vegetation and wildlife is so healing. Another benefit is it provides grounding. If you need a little grounding while on spiritual journey, you need to go outside and put your feet on the earth. With your bare feet on dirt, grass, or sand, you feel connected with the universe. This can ease stress, anxiety, and fears that might be blocking your spiritual channels. Another benefit is that nature allows you to tap into your intuition. You might also find that the more time you spend in nature, the more intuitive you become. And this is because there is less noise of the city or distractions at home. While you're in nature, things are calm and quiet. Of course, considering where you are, if you're in the middle of a very busy Central Park in a town, it might not be so calm and quiet, but if you can get into a forest or a national park or some type of campground or place that you're away from roads and traffic, so those are the times when you can really tap into your intuition. You can actually look within and find your natural intuitive instincts and learn how to listen to them. Because all of the sound of the world is drowned out. And of course, that's when you can hear your soul. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some easy ways that you can connect with nature. The good news is that it's really easy to do this. You just need to find a spot near you where it's calm and safe, whether that is a local park, a forest or wooded area in your town, or even the garden right in your backyard. Other people prefer areas like the mountains or the ocean when it comes to connecting with nature, and of course that's not possible for everybody, but those are really popular ways, and that's why you always hear of spiritual retreats happening in the mountains or near an ocean, because they know that spirituality and nature are very profoundly connected. So here are some things to do when you want to connect with nature while on your spiritual journey. You can go on a mindful walk or hike. So the difference between this and a regular walk would be you're not listening to anything. Like a lot of people, when they go for walks or hikes, they have their earbuds in, they're distracting their mind. But when you're going on a mindful walk, this is where you really want to focus on your surroundings. You really want to listen to the noises of the wildlife and really take it in and just focus on just that. You can also meditate while sitting outside in a quiet, calm place. So meditation might be hard for you if you are sitting outside, but this is where it can be really helpful if you can find a quiet, calm place to meditate, because it's so much easier to focus on nature than it is to sit in your house and try to meditate, because then you're going to be distracted by things. You're not going to be able to relax as easily as you are in nature. Of course, you have to feel safe, so make sure that this is a safe place where you're not going to suddenly be walked on by strangers coming by. So another way that you can connect with nature is to spend time tending to your garden. If you can't have a garden, try to grow things in containers. This is a great way to feel closer to nature and make yourself feel like you are actually, you're doing something in the world. You're making something come to be. And growing things is one of the best ways that you can do that. You can also do full moon or new moon rituals outside. This is a great way to connect with nature, especially when you are on a spiritual journey. I've done an episode on using the moon phases for manifestation and to achieve your goals and things like that. I've also written about this a lot. This is a really fun topic that I like to talk about. In the full moon, these are the times when you want to celebrate and release, and then the new moon is the time where you want to either plant new seeds or start new goals or start anything new. So it's fun to work with the moon phases to improve your life in almost any way. And so doing these rituals outside is a great way to connect with nature. Of course, you can't always do that if the weather is bad, if it's winter. You can do those things inside as well. You can get like an altar and keep things on your altar. And so that's the next best thing to actually doing it outside. So the next tip that I have for you when you want to connect nature and spirituality is to bring nature inside your home. So if you live in the city and it isn't easy to get outside, or you simply don't have time, to go to a nearby wooded area or a park, then you can bring nature inside your home. This is a great tip for anyone, even if you're not into spirituality. Even if you do spend a lot of time outside, it's still nice to bring nature inside. So consider starting a collection of indoor plants that you can tend to and soak up their natural beauty. And also plants will cleanse and detox the air and the energy inside your home. So this is a great thing to do, especially if you do meditate indoors, or if you do have a altar in your bedroom or whatever, to have some plants nearby. You can also pick wildflowers to bring inside, or to get a new flower bouquet every few weeks to bring home and have inside your house. So the next tip for connecting spirituality and nature is to go to a spiritual retreat center. So, of course, this is something that you might struggle with if you don't have the means or if you don't live near one. There are really not a lot of these, and I actually have yet to find one that's near me that's easy to get to and not super expensive. They're usually set in the middle of nature, in the middle of nowhere usually. They're always overlooking either like a beautiful mountainside or a forest or an ocean or rolling hills of lush green vegetation. You've seen the pictures, and I just don't live in a place that has that. So they're hard to find, but if you can afford it to travel to a spiritual retreat center, great place to do this. there is no doubt that when you want to become more spiritual, nature is the best catalyst. It provides the perfect setting for removing toxic distractions. You're surrounded with all the elements of life that you are yourself are made of. So water, earth, air, fire, those sorts of things. And that allows the right conditions for you to go within. This is why retreat centers often focus on nature and are always in a very beautiful nature-based area. So the next thing I want to talk about is nature-based religions. This is a big thing because if you're listening to this episode, you're probably either interested in spirituality or you consider yourself spiritual but not religious. So that's why I wanted to talk about this. It almost seems contradictory to describe religion as being nature-based, but there is a huge difference between religion and spirituality. And I've talked about this a few times. I've got a podcast episode about that as well. But there are some religions that center around nature. And actually, some people don't even like to call them religions. But for the sake of this episode, I'm going to call them that. Basically, they're belief systems or value systems, whatever you value. So a lot of these are things like paganism, Wicca, pantheism, animism, shamanism, druidry. There's many names for these. They really are just centered around nature. They're centered around the fact that everything that exists is God, and ways that we can connect to our higher self and connect to the universe is through the earth. And that's what shamans do. They're, energy healers. They use herbal medicines and things like that. So I believe that these are not religions exactly. They are just methods of how humans can live harmoniously with nature and feel that connection, because we all need to be connected to something bigger. That's really what spirituality is all about. It's finding your place in the world. As humans, we see just our planet as the world, but really the world is really a bigger thing. It's the universe. It's everything that exists everywhere, not just on Earth. So it's a very crucial thing. So in summary, nature and spirituality go hand in hand. They are a perfect example of mutually beneficial symbiosis. You can't have one without the other, and both paths lead to the other. So if you're trying to become more spiritual, nature can give you that boost that you need. And if you are a lover of nature, you can expect to become more spiritual as a result. So if you're interested in learning more about spirituality, I have a free spirituality ebook available on my website, holisticlifestyleguide.com. I also have a lot of other products in my Etsy shop about spirituality that will help you, and also nature as well. I've got one that it's like a toolkit with links to a lot of information and also printable journals, planners, and things like that will help you to connect with nature. So all of that stuff is available on my website. Just go to holisticlifestyleguide.com and you'll find everything there. So that is it for this week's episode. Don't forget to join me next week for another episode, and thank you so much for listening.